Welcome to Enlightenment Unknown Life of a Spiritual Nomad. Join Reiki Master and Quantum Healing expert Wes Coons as he guides listeners through the depths of self-discovery and spiritual enlightenment to uncover the version of you we haven't met yet.
Welcome to Enlightenment Unknown Life of a Spiritual Nomad. My name is Wes Coons, and welcome back to the show. We are on special assignment today. We got in the truck, drove to the other city, which is not my favorite thing to do. And I am sitting in a yurt in Cosette's backyard. What's up, Cosette?
Hello, Wes. Thank you for having me. This is my honor to have you.
Yeah. So thanks for coming on the show. So where are we? Tell me about this setup. I love this.
So this is my yurt in the backyard, which was a random thing my daughter helped me discover, find, and build. And it started with I wanted to do yoga in the backyard without getting bitten by mosquitoes in the summer of Virginia. Everything from there just kind of evolved and came together. And now you're here in this space.
The energy in here is pretty cool. I like it. So we've been friends for years. I remember the first time, I don't even remember the conversation, but I told you about this and I told you how Jesus showed himself to me, right?
Yeah. We were in a parking lot.
Yeah.
The realtor convention.
And then we had lunch and I said something and I think you said, I needed to look in your eyes when you told me this story, right?
Yeah.
See if I was bullshitting you.
Yeah.
You know, the corporate business person, I am full in my masculine energy and I'm going to bulldoze and win the world. Cosette was there.
Yes.
Where's that person today?
I hung that up with stress and demands and life pressures and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely been a journey, but it's interesting. You're probably the third person this week to make a comment like that about people that I haven't seen in months or a year or so.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels good.
Well, the new you is so much lighter, you actually enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
You're not on this time clock. I have to be here, and I have to look at the P&L, and I have to do this, because you did amazing things in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I said to you for a long time, that's not who you're supposed to be. So you're doing healing work and stuff now, right?
Yes.
So tell me about that.
So it's funny, like things that evolve that you didn't set out intentionally to do, And so I was actually building a different business, which is still a thing, but this became like a side project. And I just found like every rabbit hole I went down, every breadcrumb I followed, and everything I learned, I started sharing with people. I have a big background in coaching, right? For the past decade, I've coached people on business and success in real estate. And so I actually took a test a long time ago, and it defined me as a quantitative thinker.
What the hell does that mean?
So it's basically if blue and yellow make green. We know that, right? That's a fact.
Okay.
But how much blue or how much yellow and which shades will create what color green? So it's starting off with facts and science and research, but then adding culture and nuance and intuition and all of the other magical things in the world that you can't put your finger on and you can't see and you can't touch, but they affect the climate and the environment around you. That's a quantitative thinker.
Okay.
So that's how I got here. So as I started building that and I started sharing whatever I was learning with other people, I'd say, hey, come over, I want to try this, or let's explore this. And I have so many countless people, yourself included, that we have gone round and round in conversation and just really questioning things and getting to the core, right, of like truth, which I think is what everybody's seeking. Like, what do you know as truth? And sometimes truth is different for different people. So I believe in meeting people where they're at, right? And stepping into where they are and seeing life through their eyes. And then that's really where you can become a healer, you can become a coach, a teacher, and show up for them the way that they need versus just forcing whatever it is you believe or think on other people.
Yeah. Well, how do I want to word this? So you grew up in the church.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of people have had trauma from the church. A lot of people like the church. Personally, for me, I did not grow up in the church. I didn't know Jesus was a Jew until like 4 or 5 years ago, right? And this stuff typically is not looked upon as positive in the church, at least what I've seen. So how did you process learning this healing work, learning and experiencing what you experienced on the table? And as I'm talking about it, my hands are on fire right now. How do you process, I went to church, this is my religious beliefs versus this is my spiritual beliefs, and how do you manage that?
That is a loaded question. Well, it's definitely been a journey and not one that you don't really realize you're on until you lift your eyes up and you see where you've come from and how far you've come. And you are correct. Reiki, healing, energy work, even yoga are all things that some religions and spiritualities and belief systems do not align with. So again, back to being a person of like research and science based, I love numbers. I've said so many times, I love numbers because numbers don't lie, right?
Yeah.
In fact, in my first Reiki, the instructor laughed at me and was like, Cosette, you can't put Reiki in a spreadsheet. And I thought in my head, I didn't say it out loud, but I said, watch me.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I will find a way, right? And I've always been the type, like if my mom told me the stove was hot, I had to touch it to know exactly what hot meant or what hot meant to her, right? I've started plenty of fires and stoves. My kids will tell you that's hot, right? Like I can touch a stove and I can survive from it. So I guess it comes from having a curious mindset, right? Always being in wonder of how things operate. My dad was a pilot, so we joke that we have like engineer pilot DNA, and I like to build things, and in order to build things, you have to know how they work. So the long of the short is I feel like I had to go travel around the world, out into the universe, and come back to find truly what I found as truth and re-meet God in my life and re-meet these things and be able to define them for myself versus how they were defined for me growing up or by outside influences in the world.
Yeah. So you traveled the world to find yourself.
Yeah. It's funny. I heard a song today. I was working with those cactus in the yard, and it said, you got to die 1,000 times to truly find yourself. And I was like, dang, I definitely feel like I've lived a couple lifetimes.
Oh, I've definitely done some stuff, that's for sure. This has been by far, I don't want to say it's been the most painful because it's been the most beautiful too, but going through your spiritual awakening and finding yourself forces you to look at who you are at a deep, raw level. Right? I had heart surgery 2 years ago, right?
Right.
I walked in the emergency room with my heart rate was 277, and the funny thing is when they see that, you don't have to wait in line. So they run you right back, and I'm standing there. There's 2 emergency room doctors looking at me. There's 3 or 4 nurses, and after about 30 minutes of them just staring at me because they were trying to get this injection, this medicine to get my heart rate down, and it wasn't working. And I finally said, why are you guys here? Because I've been to the doctor enough that the physician doesn't hang out like that, let alone 2. And he says, oh, we're waiting for you to flatline.
Oh,
I'm like,
jeez.
okay, so waiting for me to die. And then later I seen the doctor a few weeks later. He says, usually my patients die at 260, but you're at 277 for 5 hours. And I told him, I said, Marines are like cockroaches. They're hard to kill. But something Trinae had told me is that I could heal that in myself. And it's funny, when I work on anybody else, there is 100% certainty every single time. But when I do my own work, there's this self-doubt, right?
Yeah.
And long story short, things didn't work properly, and had 3 procedures. And I don't know, I guess it was about 60 days ago, I looked at how somebody was treating me in my life, and it pissed me off. I was like, she's ghosting me, she's wasting my time, blah, blah, blah. And then I looked at, well, I'm doing that to some of the people that look at me as their friend. So I made amends to those people. I called them up, had that conversation, and that wasn't easy. That was hard to look at myself and say, you're being a jerk off. And calling those people and making a deep apology, not just saying, hey, I'm sorry. I told them everything that I did and what I felt I did to them. And the funny thing, within 24 hours, my heart hasn't been messed up since.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
No.
When we don't work through our feelings and emotions properly, or we're not living an authentic life, we create pain and disease in our body. That for me was like this giant light bulb going off, because I think there's still part of me, I know this may sound shocking, but a little arrogant when it came to my healing work. And it's not that I was arrogant in the room. I just felt like I've got it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the reality is I did not, because if I had it, I couldn't figure out why I couldn't heal myself. So I'm watching you go through this journey and looking in the mirror and making changes and having these conversations of these business opportunities that you're looking at, and thinking to myself, well, I said, she'll find it one time. And because I knew none of those that's not where you were supposed to be. And watching you problem solve and look deeper and look deeper and look deeper, then all of a sudden just something, a switch changed. And I'm like, hey, who's this? It was cool to watch.
It's funny because, to your point, like when I went to my first Reiki training, I also said, when everybody's going around the circle introducing themselves and everybody's saying these beautiful things like they're here because they want to help people and heal people and this, that, the other, I was like, I am not here for anybody but myself. Like, I'm here to protect myself. Like, I need to learn about why these like people's energy sticks on you, and I come home and it's like you just want to strip it off. And in our industry, in real estate, and being around so many people. But I think that moment for me, like you're talking about, came in my, like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to research it. So I was studying meditation. Like, if I'm going to meditate, I want to do it the best way possible, down to the posture, the breath, like everything. And that's what I mean when I say go down the rabbit hole or follow the breadcrumbs. And everything I studied with breath work and meditation referenced becoming the observer. So like you said, looking yourself in the mirror, but absent of ego, absent of judgment, absent of opinions or pressures or anything else, and just completely observing yourself. Like if I was a stranger and I'm looking at myself, and it's like, man, that's a different kind of perspective. Like,
it is.
Sometimes you're not as great as you think you are. Sometimes you're better than you think you are. But just to take an honest look and go, okay, like now how do I fine tune myself? How do I clean this up? How do I change that? Absent of the expectations of others, right? And I think that's something we are not granted in life. I joke like, okay, I was raised in my parents' house under their rule. And then I got married straight, moved out straight from high school, started a family. And that was that situation. I had a career, threw myself 100% into a company. And that, not to say any of these are bad things, but when do you stand up and say, like, I want to decide what I say, what I do, what I believe, who I am, absent of anybody else's expectations or opinions. And I wish everybody had the time to do that in life, because we all show up for a paycheck or a spouse or a person, something in life that we are outfitting ourselves for.
Well, we get these boxes placed on us. In my family, it was certain things that you were expected to do. And my brother and I both got into real estate, and there was just these expectations. And I remember my brother getting mad at me because I would be outside of the box that was perceived that I was supposed to be in, and joining the Marine Corps and stuff like that. I lived in those boxes for a long time. So I'm doing real estate differently now. And so today we had our company Thanksgiving lunch. And I had people that I'd invited from both of my businesses there
Oh,
for
that's
the first
cool.
time. So that was cool. And 2 years ago, I would not have been able to be in that room and felt comfortable, because I felt the only thing I could do is residential real estate, do the work that I'm already doing, and shifting gears was a failure. And because it was looked as a failure from certain people in my life. So I remember being in there today, and I was actually comfortable in my skin, and I'm not comfortable in my skin a lot. So it was pretty cool. It was fun.
I'm happy for you for that.
Thanks.
That's
Thanks.
cool.
I don't know. It's just been so different the last probably year. I think for both of us.
I think, yeah. And I think the world, I mean, not everyone, but if you look around, there's a lot of people waking up, a lot of people awakening, and I've been trying very hard and studying to create a universal language out of that, right? That's part of, you were in the Marines, I was a military kid, and I love to travel because I believe people need exposure. Like if you have lived in one spot your entire time, and it might not be to your own fault, right? Like to be able to get out of town or go travel. But if you've only been exposed to one very small box, like you said, there's a big wide world out there. I mean, I've met people that don't know who Jesus is, right? Like, I mean, and you meet them where they're at because they still have a beautiful culture or way of life or something, just because they weren't exposed or raised in the same manner does not make them wrong at all. And I love it. I remember being a kid, like I wasn't a bad or rebellious kid, but I was always in trouble. Surprise, surprise. I just don't like rules that I don't understand or feel that they fit me, right? And I mean, I was raised in a devout Mormon family, so there's all kinds of rules. And what I love about my upbringing, my family, my parents are amazing parents, is the family values. I mean, it's so funny because I try to rebel in every way I can just to see where the limits are, just to see how hot the stove is.
Yeah.
But yet when I wake up and look around, like I have all of the same values, standards, principles, family dinner. All my kids know we eat at the dinner table together. There's no phones. We don't have to say it. Like it's just the way it is, You've been in my home. You see exactly how our family unit works, and we're a blended family at that. But the core values of looking out for each other and being there and having a family council and like understanding what people are going through in your own household. I mean, how many families don't have that? So I think there's a lot to be said for like, I don't know. For me, I just had to redefine it all for myself. I was a kid and I was in trouble a lot. My dad was the bishop, so they sent me to the higher ups above my dad at the time. And I would have to go counsel every time I got in trouble or needed, And I remember saying to somebody, can I just be like a C student? And, I'm an A+ student, but I was like, can I just be like a C student, Mormon? Because I just don't know about these rules things. Like, I just don't understand.
Hey, there's plenty of times I wish I was just a C student, and I promise you I was not an A+ student.
And my mom told me once, she said, you can't pick and choose. You have to believe it all or you have to be all in. And I didn't understand it at the time. I was like, that's silly. I want to pick and choose. Like I pick up rocks all over the place and bring them home with me, right? Like they're all in my garden. I have spent a weekend on a mountain with a Native American medicine woman, right?
Yeah.
Like learned some cool stuff, like holding her stone right now. So yeah, I do want to pick along the way, and I want to bring in the practices and the things that I find have meaning for me in my life. And if they don't, then I don't need them, So it's not so much that I was a rule breaker. It was just, if it didn't really apply to me, I didn't understand why I needed to follow it necessarily, right?
Well, I was a rule breaker. I mean, if it said hot, do not touch, I touched it.
We're going to touch it, man.
Yeah. So what would you say, somebody listening on this podcast, we've got people in Egypt, Russia, Japan, all over the world listening. And by the way, thank you for trusting us and allowing us into your life, into your family. That means a lot. But if they're struggling, if they're trying to find their way, what do you think, what advice would you give that person?
So this is going to sound very masculine, but do the work. I have asthma as an adult, like I got it after the age of 40, and I'm allergic to nature and cats, two of the things I love. So I researched breathing, and now I'm a breatharian, right? Like, just follow the breadcrumbs, follow the path, do the work, do the research, because you never know what you're going to run into, what you're going to find. Like I am exactly where I am because I have researched. And if I read a book and I see a word I don't know, I look it up. And then I implement it that week. I'm going to use this word 100 times this week. I'm trying to build it into my vocabulary, right? So push yourself to go down the journey. It's exciting. It's like an Indiana Jones movie. Just follow the map, because it's crazy how the universe will show up and lay those directions out for you, but we have to be open to it. And that's where in the past it was like so hard driven, so success driven that it was like, I I don't need anyone or anything. I can do it all by myself, and I will make the map for the next 10 years and I will bulldoze my way through it. And I can do that. I've done it. This time I'm not trying to do that. Like, how many times have you told me, like, let go of control?
Let go,
That
let go.
is hard. I'm like, but wait a minute. Like, if we don't have a plan, then we don't have a map. But the map's changed.
I would say that and you would just look at me like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, you're crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I have to control everything or nothing gets done. And that was my attitude. And so now it's like, okay, what's the one thing, and we'll go back to some real estate, but what's the one thing today that actually matters that's going to make a difference?
sure.
And that definition has changed. It doesn't have a dollar sign behind it or a number. In one of the books I'm reading, it said the moment you put a number on something, you've put a limit.
That's right.
Even though we've always used it to set goals, right? To set that goalpost, and we make big, audacious goals. But still, in putting a number on it, you've put a limitation on it. So the opportunities are everywhere. I went to an appointment for myself today and ended up spending an extra half hour there talking to the person that was servicing me about their issue. And then I went home and wrote an entire breathwork script for them and sent it over. And they were
Nice.
like super freaking grateful because they're struggling really hard with something. And I think that's what's cool about doing breathwork. I learned stuff about my own family members that I had no idea they had going on in their body, because back to what you said in the beginning, everything's going to manifest its way out through the physical, trauma, stress, all the things, they have a residue. They will land somewhere in your body, in your energy fields and stuff. And it's crazy. Something that's so intangible, right? We can't see it, we can't touch it, which is the hardest thing to believe in, is your energy.
Yeah. Well, if you find yourself dating the same person over and over, different face, this will help shift that.
Yeah.
That's something I've been working on for a long time. I remember years ago, what's that show where the man or woman goes on and there's like 30 people that want to marry him?
Oh, there's a lot of them.
That stupid
I don't
show.
watch TV much,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's one of those Bachelorette style.
Yeah. The Bachelor was in Virginia Beach a couple years ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago. And one of my staff members comes up and she said, "Hey, Wesley, do you know her?" I said, "No, why?" She said, "Well, you know all these horrible women. I thought maybe you knew her."
Oh,
She was
wow.
being serious. And I just remember how bad that hurt my feelings. The reality is that's who I attracted.
Right.
At the time, hear this, universe, at the time, I attracted women that threw me in the trash easily because I threw myself in the trash easily. Right?
Yeah.
I never have forgotten that. And I think that was a pivotal moment for me of I've got to change something. I didn't know what that was. So I ended up taking Reiki 1 and Trinae said, you can live a Reiki blessed life, or you could take a class or a course, or you get even certified as a Reiki master, or you can learn how to live Reiki. And I didn't understand what that meant. It just sounded better than what I had, So it's been a journey.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, me too. I actually had a conversation with each of my parents over the summer and was like, I love my parents. My family is very close, but I wasn't seeing them as the resource that necessarily they were, right? And you talk about energy and all of this and different countries, different cultures. It's like we all drive a different car, but we all put fuel in it, right?
Yeah.
So we're all fueled by the same thing. We're all on the same earth. We're all grown and made of the same things, right? So if the world could get to a place where they look over their differences, would be a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But then we're pretty far from it. If we can help and touch one person at a time, then, that's one more in the right direction.
I've got a rule in my life that if I'm around a person watching something or at an event or whatever that is starting to irritate me or bring up the energy of anger, I'm
Yeah.
done. I'm leaving instantly, because that is gonna sit inside of me. That cortisone is gonna release in my body. I think 2 minutes of being just raw and that angry takes 6 to 8 hours to release out of your body.
Well, you think in our so many years of running leadership and management of real estate. And this isn't just real estate, but it's the point of being around so many people and it's your job to service, right? Or let's say you're in the Navy and you're on a boat with a bunch of people. You don't have a lot of choice in the matter, right? And it's your job per se. The best part about my life at this present moment is I get to pick who I hang out with, right? Who I share my energy with. And they have all these cliche sayings now that just get taken for granted. Like, oh, they got good vibes. Like good vibes only. Like if you only understood the depth of what that actually is. Being on the same vibration with someone, raising the vibration in the room versus being a vibration sucker of the room. So these are all the things it's like when I say go down that rabbit hole, like, I understand what vibration is now. I understand what frequency is, right? I understand how energy works. And Reiki, I had somebody ask me, I'm like, it's not a belief system. It's not a religion. It's a practice.
It's a lifestyle.
It's just like working out. You practice at it and you get better at it. And if you understand your energy and how it works within your body in a physical and metaphysical way, then you can be the master of your energy. Absolutely. You can control it. You can move it. You can heal it, right? And I feel like I've just scratched the surface, but I've arrived. I now know what this looks like. Now it's time to really go all the way in on it.
Well, my friend Jason, Jessica's husband from the Reiki Wellness Center, he's active duty Navy. And I remember the conversation, this was a few years ago. Well, I'm stuck on this ship. There's nothing I can do. And Trinae just looked at him and said, oh, darling, like, bless your heart. She said, Reiki it. And I seen the look in his face as just like, whatever. And I felt the same way. That's just BS. And I watched him because everything's a direct reflection and we're the most powerful person in the room. So when we walk in the room, we can shift the energy. So he started going through the ship and putting Reiki symbols on the walls and doing prayers and grounding himself and doing prayers before he got on the ship. And he visualized the ship and everybody being in a better place. And it went from where he was going toe to toe with the captain of the ship. I mean, just bad. You know, I was like, dude, you talk to him that way. And to when he was done, they were friends and they collaborated all the time. And the only thing that changed was Jason. Jason changed. And he shifted the energy of that. So if you're sitting there saying, oh, I can't change who I'm around, well, you can start raising your vibration. You could do that self-healing. And either they're going to raise their vibration with you or they're going to go away.
That's right.
And either way, that's okay.
Yeah. I love the phrase, rejection is God's protection. Oh my gosh. That one hit me hard this month or this year. And I used to be concerned that I wanted everybody to like me.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we're not meant for everybody to like us, and we should repel some people. That's our protection. Like, if I make you uncomfortable, then we're like, no harm, no foul. Like, I don't have any bad feelings, but maybe we're not meant to be in the same room.
Yeah. Well, I got a call from a buddy of mine today. He said, hey, I'm sitting here with somebody, they're a Reiki too, and they had a question, and she got on the phone and she realized it was me. We knew each other, and for whatever reason, I mean, she couldn't get off the phone fast enough. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that was about, but I started to giggle. I said, what do you mean somebody doesn't like me? The old West, that would have bothered me a lot. And I'm like, okay, I wasn't the person she was looking for an answer from, and that's okay. And for me in my life, literally that moment right there would have stuck with me for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I let that stuff go these days. It's okay. I'm not supposed to be there for everybody. And somebody asked me, how do you convince people about Reiki or the healing work that you do or whatever that is? I said, I don't. She said, well, how do you connect with them? I said,
they find you.
I do what I do, and the people that need to hear the message show up.
That's right.
And the ones that don't, that's okay. And I'm not here to save everybody. I'm here to do my work.
That's exactly what I have found. I don't like contention. I don't like go into contentious situations. I'm not looking for that. I'm not looking to be challenged. Intellectually, like, let's go. Like, let's not in a negative manner, but it's interesting because it is the people that hear what they need to hear that reach out, and they come ready and curious and vulnerable and open. And it's amazing because, like you said, you know, like in sales, it was always like, okay, we got to take everybody with us. We got to train. We got to coach. We got to drag everybody. And this isn't one of those. This is not one of those situations. So,
Well, it was probably maybe last year. My secretary comes to me, and in this 3D world, we need to make a certain amount of money to pay the bills. And she said, hey, we don't have enough in the pipeline to cover some stuff that's coming up. I'm like, okay. And she's like, well, wait a minute. What do you mean, okay? I said, okay. She's like, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to say to the agents? I said, nothing. I said, we're going to pray. And they just looked at me. So I made it. We all held hands. And I prayed that I just did a prayer, and I asked God, I said, help my agents see the golden doors in front of them. And as I was doing that, I was visualizing my team. I took one at a time and visualized them writing contracts. The contracts were wrapped in gold and they were floating up in the air and all this other stuff. And about a week later, she's like, oh my God, look how many contracts came in. I was like, yeah, that's how it works. You know? And it's not that I'm oblivious to what the math is, but the math is not in dominion over me.
right.
You know?
Yep.
I
back
go
that
to
number.
God, and when I cleared my attachment to the money coming into the company, and then I did prayers for them. I didn't do prayers for me. I didn't pray, please let the math work. I prayed that they receive the blessings that are coming to them.
Do you know the greatest thing, the blessing I received this summer? Our mutual friend came over, and we were doing, she's from Colombia, and so we were doing something from her culture, and she said to have an intention. So I had my intention, and when she was doing the blessing, she said, if your intention is only about you, it's not big enough. Like, we have so much divine power, right? Like, that we can wield, and we can be a conduit, and we can do so much. To only think of something for ourselves is just too small.
Yeah.
And immediately, like, that just changed everything. I've never asked for something for myself again.
I've gotten to the point where when I pray, I just ask God to put me where He wants me, because that's all I want to do is serve Him.
Right.
I want to do that work. I want to help whoever needs to hear this message, whoever needs that healing, to find us to get that work done and open the door and put me where I'm supposed to be, because I know there's way bigger things coming.
Yeah.
And I'm the one that causes the problems.
This is so true.
Yeah.
You know, that's like back to Reiki 1 when I walked in, and I was like, I'm here for myself, nobody else. Well, by the end of this year, I'll be done with Reiki mastery. And when I walk in there, my tone has changed to, I have to do this work. Like, I've seen the difference it's made in people. It doesn't matter if it's one session. It will change the way they think, the way they look at things, the awareness around things, you know? And words, like, I've always loved words, the power of our words. Like, that's a whole episode in itself, is the words that come out of our mouth are affirmations, right? I
Your
told
baby
somebody,
prayers.
I told somebody I made them promise to never say I'm sorry again. Not the I'm sorry, like, I apologize if I hurt you, I did
Sure.
something wrong, but, oh, I'm sorry. No, stop saying that. That's the worst affirmation that you could be saying. We're not sorry people. You're
Yeah, because
amazing,
we're
right?
allowed to take up space. We're allowed to be here.
Yeah, stop saying I'm sorry. Like, it's imprinted on you that you're sorry, you know? So the words we use, the affirmations, and like you said, the power of visualization in the prayer that you did with your agents, like, that's visualization. You visualize, you see it, and you embody the feeling, the emotion of it actually being a reality. Like, it's already happened, right? And that's where I think the true magic happens, is when you embody the emotion. If you walk every day into the daylight, like, you have everything you need, and you are everything you need to be. You will just be that way, right?
You know, I was told I wasn't here to suffer. You know, I was talking to somebody, and she said, all I do is see you suffer. You're not here to suffer. You're here to struggle. Suffering is a lower vibration. Just like the butterfly being born. If I cut that cocoon, that butterfly is going to die. It has to struggle to get out, to get the blood through the wings and strengthen that so it can live and do what it's supposed to do. She said, honey, you're like the seed on the ground. It's dark right now, but you're growing. You just don't see it. Faith, believe in yourself. And for me, letting go of being attached to whatever's happening.
Right.
Like coming here to do the podcast, I started to think about it. I was like, God will bring out the words that need to be said. And I don't know what we're going to talk about. We'll figure it out.
Unscripted. I love it.
Right? We are unscripted. So Cosette, we're about running out of time. So tell us, how do people connect with you? How, if they want to find you on Instagram or your website or whatever, or they want to hire you to do work, what does that look like?
Yeah, I love word of mouth referral business. So pretty much all of my clients so far have come from, just like we talked about, the right people coming into the right time and space. But probably the best way is on Instagram. Message me on Instagram. It's joyfulliving.wellness. And that is my breath work. So what I do is an integrated coaching of wellness. So we do breath work, some restorative movement attached to the breath and whatever ailment we're working on, or maybe we're just empowering and growing. And then I have tuning forks, and we do vibrational work on the body. It's all customized to the person. So we do a consult beforehand, an expectation call to discover what is it that they're looking to work on. And then they will leave. You've seen it with an instruction of here's breathwork exercises to practice. Like, this is work when I say do the work, right? It's amazing how hard it is to breathe sometimes, right? And people come in, they're like, holy crap. Like, I feel like I just did 100 sit-ups. Like, it actually is a lot of work. But then we work on the energy, cleansing, working through any of those issues that they're holding on to or they need to release, like you said. And then I can definitely train on like manifestation, meditation, clearing energy and things like that. So again, depending on what the person wants to focus on the most, it can be a little bit of everything into a nice flow, or it can be very specific and we can deep dive in certain areas. But it's typically a 90-minute session and it's completely customized, and it's really quite fascinating.
That's
actually
cool. So what's your Instagram again?
joyfulliving.wellness.
joyfulliving.wellness.
Yep, you can find me there.
Well, Cosette, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me to your home, to your yurt, and it's like 45 degrees out. I'm in shorts and everybody else is cold. So
I know, the wind's going crazy out there. It's so fun.
Yeah. And I want to thank the listeners for listening. I appreciate it. I do prayers for you all the time, actually, and I might not talk about it on the show much, but I do those prayers. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you, and we will see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye, Cosette.
You've been listening to Enlightenment Unknown with Wes Coons, your guide on the quest for self-discovery and the version of you we haven't met yet.